All right. Welcome, Rebecca. Welcome back to the show. We're so happy to have you again. You're such a valuable part of the IHP community. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be amazing.
Well, thank you, Kate. It's my honor to be here again. I had done a podcast last year and talked, quite a bit about my health journey, how I come into, the program, and how I ran my business as far as the lab testing goes. And so, if some of them want to tune back into that, I think it was show number 219. If you wanted to hear more about my story, I hate to go back through all of that, again for everybody. So I thought maybe we could talk about some different information this time.
Okay, that sounds great. And quickly, how long have you been an IHP?
About 3 years.
Okay, amazing. And I know you're a big part of the community, and a lot of people look to you for their, advice, especially new health coaches. And I just really wanted to kind of touch on how important and a big part of the community you are, and how much you support people and how you give back. And I'd love to hear kind of some of the ways that you have worked with people.
Oh, thank you. I really do. I just feel like paying it forward to those coming up into the program is really important. I remember being there and not knowing what I didn't know. And so I do try to weigh in and answer questions in the Facebook groups and offer help. I have talked to a lot of the IHPs that are coming into the program. Many of them are my clients. I work with IHPs on several levels. Some of my clients, we do lab testing. We're working on a health journey as they're going through the courses to, try to get them feeling better as well. I work beside, some of the IHP ones, as far as if they have clients or they have family members that want to do the lab testing and they're not certified yet. I work alongside them with them to offer that lab testing, and then they take over the coaching from there. And then as they come through level 2, I work with a lot there. Just when you start reading those labs for the first time, it's a little intimidating sometimes. And so they will read their labs, and then we meet together and just go through them, let them ask questions and present to me, practice. And are they making the right recommendations? Have they missed something? And I can help them a little bit with, this is how I explain that. And so just really boost their confidence, get them up, prepared for that first few consults.
That's amazing. And I think it's so wonderful to have someone like you, especially for people just coming in who, like you mentioned, are having their own health issues and they're trying to get themselves well so that they can feel confident in helping others. And so having you as a resource there, I think is amazing, especially like you said, people who want to run lab tests on their husbands, their family, and they're not ready yet. I think it's a really good, really good resource for people. And I also know that you speak to a lot of people who are considering joining IHP. I know you've been a big part of like helping bring people into the program. And, are there a lot of questions that you get kind of over and over?
There is. And I love that work. A lot of people will connect with me, and we will just hop on a call and talk about the program, because once they start looking into it, then their feed is full of 15 others, and they get so overwhelmed. They don't know which one is the right one. And some of them are at a very high cost. And so it's just helpful for them to be able to talk to somebody that's using the certification in their business. And I just always tell them, I don't work for the Institute. This is my personal experience of how I use the certifications. But I just talk with them about, what is this going to look like in their life? And how long did it take to, do the certifications? Were you working full time when you did? And is this the right fit for me? I'm an esthetician, and can I use this alongside that? Can I make a business out of this? And how long would that take to do that? How do you find your clients? Different things. But really, I think what they're looking for most is, what is the difference between this program and others? And a lot of them are looking into, maybe a nutritional certification or something. And so I always explain to them, it just depends on what you're wanting to do. But some of these certifications are nutrition only or fitness only. And what gives this program the edge is really the lab testing. And being able to offer that to your client gives you an edge to work with these people for a longer period of time. And, just like myself, if some people, the foundations are great, diet, lifestyle. But if they have mold toxicity or they have gut issues or they have heavy metals, diet and exercise is not going to be enough for them. And so this gives you that, other level to identify those, work on that for those, then the foundations will work for them. And so I just try to, explain to that, how they can make this successful, and then if that's going to be a right fit for them.
Yeah. And I know you're really big into lab testing. That's a really big part of your practice, as well as what you're recommending to other people. And do you also help people learn and build confidence in reading labs?
Yes. I think that's a big deal for the newer coaches for sure. Self-confidence is always, something that we all deal with. And I think that's one of the biggest things is it's not just you, it's all of us. And even as you become a more confident health practitioner, I still have people that intimidate me a little bit, or I have situations like being on podcasts that intimidate me, but it just grows. Your confidence will grow as your experience grows. And so I really, feel that you need to, just jump into that, and the experience will come as you grow, build your knowledge, read, research. Just work on one thing at a time each day that will make you a better health coach that day, or a better mother, or a better wife, whatever it is that your goal is. And so, I think as far as the lab testing getting started for, other IHPs, is just start with the starter kit, a minerals and metals test and a candida vitamin metabolic test. Those are great foundational information. Learn those, become the expert on reading those. And, then as you go through more and more of those, you're going to start boosting that confidence. And you can even include that starter kit into your packages and different things like that, just to build your practice. And then you can start going on to some of the other testing as you feel that you're ready for that.
Yeah, I think so many people think they need to master the entire Big Five, which is obviously an incredible, incredible test kit. But even just getting really confident in those first two can make such a big difference, because you're going to get so much useful and powerful information from them that can really help you kind of start that roadmap with people and, again, build the confidence. And it's just like, you don't want to try and master absolutely everything at once. Some people want to become the master of hormones or the master of mold. It's just like these tests is get really, really confident so that you can use this as a good starting point. Like you mentioned, work it into your packages.
Right.
Do you tend to offer packages, or do you offer mostly like a one-on-one 1 hour consult?
I occasionally will do a one-on-one consult if I have someone that, has done testing before and they're wanting to do a retest, something like that. But I have a package that I build the lab tests into. And so, I specialize in the lab testing. I have done additional coursework and things like that to be able to do deep dives into those. That is just my biggest passion. I love identifying those root causes for people and tying that to their symptoms. And then, just using the package then to uplift them, to guide them through the different protocols. There's modifications that need to be made. And just sometimes they just need someone there in their life to support them through that rebalancing, part. And that I think is really important. And, I use primarily the EcoLife products. I had been chronically ill for 20 years. That's what these lab tests, these products, protocols is what I healed and rebalanced my body with. And so I feel very confident to recommend that to my clients. And I never, not that they're required to do that by any means, but I know there's a lot of products out there, and I'm sure there's good ones. But I like to focus in on the protocols that Dr. Cabral recommends, and in the order that they are meant to do. And I just trust that they will be able to rebalance and get really good results with that.
Yeah. And you've seen so many people and you've seen these results. Like you said, there's so many competing protocols, but they might have a different mix of ingredients that may not make as much sense. So like being able to put it all together, I think is really important. And so many new IHPs that I talk to are kind of intimidated by selling higher ticket packages. They're not necessarily confident yet in their own skills or the transformations they can provide. So trying to sell a $2,000, $3,000 package is a little intimidating for them. But as you mentioned, it's important to have that support as people are going through protocols, because things are going to come up that no one expects, and having that support. Do you have any suggestions for coaches that don't have the confidence yet to sell that type of package?
Yeah, I just encourage them to, keep things simple at first, and I have a package that based on pretty much my time that I'm going to spend with them over the next 3 months. I mean, always talk with them about the lab testing and incorporate that in as well. I think confidence is just the big key. And I think it's so intimidating sometimes when the client comes to you and they have these medical diagnoses. And sometimes you have to Google them because you don't even know what they're talking about. And you think, I don't have the knowledge or the expertise to work with somebody with X, Y, or Z. That's too, in depth for me. And so I would just encourage the IHPs at that point to, it doesn't really matter what the diagnosis is. That's a medical diagnosis. That's between them and their doctor. That's not our scope. And so that just takes the pressure off of them as the IHP. Remember what we do. We look at vitamin and mineral deficiencies. We're looking for toxicities, and we're going to guide them to support the body and build those up, remove those toxicities, give the body what it needs to rebalance naturally. So that's our scope. And so, we take that daunting, I'm not qualified off of the table, because we stay in our scope then.
Yeah. And I think that's so important. I've been on live workshops with 100 people, and people ask about a very specific diagnosis, something I've never heard of before. And I had a really good answer for it. And I was able to say pretty much what you just said. Like that's not in my scope. I look at the underlying root causes that are causing symptoms. And, it's a really important message, because yes, you're going to have people come to you with cancers and with all these different things, and we can still support them. We can still help them in a really big way. We just can't say that we're, treating, diagnosing, preventing, curing any disease. Right. But, even if they're already working with a Western medicine doctor, the support that we're able to give them through foundations and filling mineral and vitamin deficiencies and what you just said is still so powerful. But don't be intimidated by those big words, because, so many people are dehydrated. Even just the simplest things can be transformative for people. And I think that's what a lot of new health coaches kind of overlook, is that even the de-stress protocol, some of the simplest, the hydration, the movement, the diet, those can get people 50% of the way a lot of the time until they get to the deeper root causes.
Right, for sure. So, and confidence, it's hard for all of us. Like I mentioned before, I know at the conference last year, I had done well and I was looking forward to it so much. And I was in my head the whole time, so it's things that I still work on even to this day. I'm sure there's times when maybe you don't have that confidence that maybe you should, and so a few things that I do, keep in mind is, lean into the community that you have there to help you. We have a beautiful community of IHPs. They all have their niche, they have their expertise, and they're willing to help. And so just by making friends, asking for help from those that know more than you, jumping in on the Q&A calls with Dr. Cabral, you can learn so much from that. Listen to a podcast while you're driving to the gym, you're walking, you can learn so much to build your knowledge just by doing that. And then recognize your talents. What do you do best? What do you enjoy the most? What comes most natural for you? And, work with a mentor if you need to. It doesn't have to be a big expense, but that's an investment in yourself and into your business. Someone that's already doing and is very successful at what you want. and reach out to them for help. This has been a hard lesson for me, is hire somebody to do the things that you don't do well. There are things that I love to read lab tests and be in front of the client and educate. And that's what I'm good at. And that's what my strong suit is. Social media posting and some of the organizational things, I can do them, but I'm not good at it. It takes me a long period of time. So find someone that can help take some of that off of you so that you can focus on what you're the best at. And I think some with the new IHPs, talking with them a lot, letting things just roll off, because we all have family members that we want to help. We just want to help everyone. But then we get rejection, and not everyone is going to do this work. Not everyone's going to put in the effort. Not everyone's going to put in the dollars. And just realizing that that isn't anything personal against you. Maybe they're looking for a quick fix, a pill, a Band-Aid. They're not willing or ready to do this work. And so just letting that go and realizing there's a lot of other people out there that do need your help and do want this help. And, plant the seed, let someone else water it, and hopefully someday, that will grow. And another thing that I've had, to really think about is celebrating your successes. Because as IHPs, usually we are very driven, creative people. We're always looking forward to the next thing we want to do. We want to do this program, or we have a detox group coming, or something that we want to stretch a little bit and do. And we have a hard time just stopping and taking a minute to appreciate what I have already done or what I have already accomplished. And that's really huge. How many people are texting you and messaging you that you have improved their life, where they can go do the things they want to with their family? That's huge. That's you can't put a price on that. And so I think a lot of times just getting out of our own way is the hardest part. Getting out of our head and out of our own way, jumping in, and just start talking to people, start sharing what you've learned. If you sold some lab tests and you have the results, you're going to have to jump in, you're going to have to read it, you're going to have to prepare to get that client what they need. And sometimes that's the best way, is when you just have to jump in and do it. And, there's always support there. I talk to a lot of IHPs about, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. I've got all these things. And I just always tell them, take one thing today. Today's insurance. Everything else goes on the shelf behind you for another day. Concentrate on that one thing. Insurance, I'm going to have a certificate on my desk by the end of the day. That is my focus. And then tomorrow I'm going to take on the next thing. And I think that can really help them, fight the overwhelm.
Yeah, there are so many valuable things there. And I want to go back to the community, because this community it's so powerful and amazing. And, I've asked questions in there and had 50 people respond. People want to help each other. Right, and It's one of the most thriving communities I've ever been part of. And you're never alone. And I think that's such an important thing for new health coaches as they're coming in, or people who've been in the community a while and maybe just haven't taken the leap to actually put themselves out there, is that you're not alone. And there's hundreds of people in there who've been where you're at. And you're right. It's really just taking one step a day, right? If you take one thing a day and knock it out, imagine where you'll be in a month. Right. Imagine how much less overwhelmed you'll be in a month when you've checked off 30 things, even if there are small things. Exactly. And I talk to people every day the same. They're like, there's so much to do, and I'm just choose one thing and check it off. Right. And you'll realize a lot of these things only take 5 minutes. There's certain things that seem huge, but when you actually sit down and do them, they take much less time than you think.
Right. And then Equalife's doing such a great job with providing other assets and resources to help you build your business. Some of the work that you're doing as far as, the detox groups and helping IHPs, lean into that, learn it. A lot of that information is free there for you to have. and to help you build your business. And there's not a lot of other, communities out there that offer that kind of resources.
Yeah, I agree. I was always really impressed. I've been in the IHP community for about 3 years as well, I think. And, I've just been so impressed with how much they're committing the Q&As now, bringing in the business side of things. And, they just keep investing more in the community. And it's almost all there. You just have to know where to look and be willing to ask questions. I made a lot of really amazing friends from the community,
Right.
just from conversations that have started, and we've helped each other out over the years. And I think that's just so important, is to know that you have people there who want to help. And we're here to serve. We're here to help other people. And so it's not a competition. That's another thing, is just, so many people, they feel more like it's a competition, but there's billions of people out there who could benefit from us and from our knowledge. And so, like you mentioned, and this is a hard part for a lot of coaches, is significant others or family members not willing to kind of take their advice or listen to them. And I struggle with that. My husband's definitely not willing to listen to a lot of different things. He'll drink the morning smoothie, but that's kind of it, And one of the things I always thought was interesting was, they're often willing to listen to other people, but not family members. And so even, recommending they talk to a different IHP is an interesting thing that I've seen be really successful. If your husband isn't necessarily willing to listen to you, maybe they're willing to listen to, another IHP. And so it's just having those resources, I think, is really, really valuable.
Yeah, and lead by example. I had several family members, I was the voodoo lady, and but they see you and they see you feeling better and you doing the protocols. And, my husband, he was real skeptical at first, and now he's my biggest cheerleader. He's like, okay, I need a detox ordered. I'm doing a detox on this day. He's doing so great. He tells other people about, what I'm doing. And so just hang in there. They'll come around. If it's not their cup of tea yet, they will come on board at some point.
Yeah. No, I love that. And, he'll watch or he'll be paying attention to Twitter and he'll say, this doctor said this. And I'll be like, yes, I love that. We talked about this a year ago, but then I can expand on it. It kind of like opens his mind. And no, they definitely come around. But like you mentioned, there are millions, billions of people who need our support. So if that one person doesn't, don't get discouraged. Just because they're not ready to move forward on their health journey doesn't mean there's not hundreds of people right around the corner who are. And it's just getting in front of those people. And that kind of brings me to another topic, because, you're one of the more successful IHPs. You've been very successful in gaining new clients, in promoting and selling detoxes and Equilife products. And I'd love to know kind of just some of your, how you actually get in front of your ideal clients, and, some of the ways maybe you've grown over the years.
Sure. That's the burning question. Everybody wants to know, how do you get clients? How do you get clients? Because I think that's intimidating for some. And like you just said, figure out first of all, who is that ideal client? What do they look like? Where are they at? And how do you get in front of them? And they're not going to come and knock on your door looking for help. If they don't know that you're doing this and they don't know that's what you're offering, they're not going to come looking for you. So you have to put yourself out there and let them know that this is what you're doing and that you're the expert. So educating for free is a big part of that. I do a lot of free education in my groups and on social media, just even talking with people, commenting, things like that. But in their mind, then you're becoming that expert. And when they have something come up health related, they're going to remember that, Kate was doing that. I'm going to go talk with her. I think she might be able to help me. And so, it's not always about selling, or offering to help them every day. Just educate. Just take whatever you're learning about that day, something you learned. You're a constant student after you join the program. You're always reading and hearing something new. Just share that, with your followers. And maybe it's something that they didn't even know. I think it's really important to have, work on a free asset, a digital asset. something that you can offer to them if they sign up for your email, a newsletter, anything that you can offer to them for free. Everybody likes to get something for free. And then it just starts a connection between you and that person, a conversation, maybe a free mini course. And, I love the detox groups. I've run detox groups since I was an IHP1. That's what really, I jumped into that even before I really had a lot of knowledge to do that. I would do a little Facebook group and invite people to detox with me. Pretty soon I had like 50 people detoxing and asking questions and wanting recipes. And I was doing it before I even realized I was doing it. I was coaching these people. And so, about a year ago when we did the big detox where everybody come together, and we had over 50,000 detoxing, and you did a podcast, I believe it was at that time. And I was shutting those groups down at the end of 30 days or, 60 days, whatever it was they were doing. You told me, why are you turning those people out? Keep them in a support community and foster that. And so I had some growing pains with that because not everybody was detoxing, and I was, trying to figure that dynamic out, but it has worked really well. And I have built, a large support community. That's where I focus my efforts with my posting and my education, because I know those people are listening and supporting me. And so I feel like that is very valuable to start with a detox group and then, offer them a free 20-minute consult at the end of that when they finish detoxing to know what they need to do next. Make connections if you want to work locally, make those connections with the chiropractors, the massage therapists, the fitness instructors. I work a lot with reading labs for gym, fitness instructors that want to have this for their client. They're not even related to the IHP program. And so go to your farmer's market, your local farmer's market, and talk with people about the testing and the protocols. Do some luncheons for employees. Go into the employer and say, I'll do a free luncheon for your women in your office. And just talk with them about the detox or hormones or whatever you think might interest that group. And then, that's clientele there that are going to start talking to you. Of course, social media, we've talked about that. It's not my strong suit. I know it is yours, but I do use social media. I comment and I offer hope. And sometimes that's all it is just, there's hope out there. Some of these people are so gloom and doom. They are identifying with their illness and it's so bleak. And just offering a comment of hope sometimes they will reach out to you and start talking. What did you mean by that? And a social media presence is very important. To have something that they will go check you out before they will work with you. Because I hear them say things and it's like, I know you've been on my website. And so they're going to check you out just to make sure you're legit, that they're connecting with your message. And I feel that that's very important. My business has grown really organically by word of mouth referrals. And I know that's hard for the younger generation to understand sometimes, but if you focus on that client that's in front of you, you get them amazing results. They are going to go out, they're going to come back with 10 more people that need your help too. And so don't ever underestimate, a word of mouth referral.
Yeah. And there's some stat, which I forget the exact number. It might be 70%, but something like 70% of all purchases are actually made after an in-person referral, not on social. Everyone thinks everything happens online, but in reality, it's still more than 50% decisions are made based on someone saying and referring something in person. And so it's just such a powerful network. And you, just like you mentioned, it's all about getting in front of people. It's about making those connections. It's about putting yourself out there. If people don't know you exist, they can't work with you. If they don't know what you have to offer and how you can help them, they can't work with you. Right. So if you're willing to put yourself out there, there's so many networking opportunities in your local area, the luncheons, the gyms, there are just so many. And when you're providing free advice or a free workshop, it's a value add to their community. It's going to support and help their community, their employees. We all know that if, their employees get healthier, they're going to do better work. So for the employers, it's a really valuable thing to help their employees get healthier. And again, so many people just aren't necessarily willing to put themselves out there, but that's how you're going to gain clients quickly. That's how you're going to get your first 5 to 10 clients, is just talking to people, making connections. And on social, so many people do social wrong. They spend all their time just posting and hoping people will come to them. But so much of it is about you actually making the connection and building those relationships in your DMs and having real conversations. And like you said, posting and commenting hope or real value or answering someone's question, because then it's going to start a conversation with them. And that's where the relationships start. And like you mentioned, your Facebook group is a really engaged community, and it's going to keep growing and growing. And I love that you kept your group open, because it allows it to keep growing. And those are going to be the people who are just more invested in you and your help, and are going to reach out, much more easily than just a normal follower on social media.
Yeah. And I do a little promotion in there, or, offer some education. And sometimes you won't hear from many of those people, for a long period of time. And then something will trigger them. Something that you do will connect with them. And they're like, okay, I want to talk about that. And so it's going to be different for each person. But just anybody you talk to, anybody that you're, invite your new detoxes. I run my detox groups through there then once every 3 months, and I invite new blood into that. And sometimes we talk about the CBO protocol and recipes or something like that. And it is just a really good way to, build a bond with people. And I just love having that community.
Yeah, and community is so important. And, you can spend all your time building the back end of your business, but I always tell people, start working on the community right away. Start making those connections, start, post on your group face or your personal Facebook, telling your friends what you're doing. Let people know, because it's going to start those conversations, and the clients are going to start coming. But also, again, thinking about everyone who you're connected to, all the potential in your community. A lot of people, their significant others become a huge referral source. They tell all their friends, right? And everyone's going to come to you for a different reason. Just like in the group, in the Facebook group, you might have 50 different reasons to be there. And one post that's about how the detox can help support weight loss might trigger 5 people. The next post about how it's going to improve gut health might trigger another 5 people. And so just recognizing all the kind of different reasons that people would come to you, and different things are going to allow people to self-identify in a different way. And when they self-identify with your content and your post, that's when they're going to feel more inclined to actually take action. But sometimes it takes people 6-8 months before they're ready to actually move forward on something. And it's about nurturing that relationship and continuing to be front of mind and building your authority with them. And I think that's what you've done in, your group and all the in-person stuff you've done, which is amazing.
I hope so.
Yes. So is there anything else you'd like to share with new practitioners, to, any additional, messages that you think are really important?
No, I guess that's it for today, but, just reach out to me. I'm always here. I have several, I had a couple this morning reach out that just started the program, just kind of looking to how to, absorb more knowledge and what kind of notes to keep. And I'm always here. Reach out anytime. I'm always willing to, chat with you, see if there's something that I can do to help, and always willing to do that.
And where can people find you? I know they can find you in the Facebook group, but where else can they find you?
My email is becky@RebeccaFlackWellness.com. My website, RebeccaFlackWellness.com, on Instagram, on Facebook. Just reach out. If there's somebody out there that, maybe on the fence of wanting to become an IHP, I always, talk with those people as well. If I can help you answer questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out anytime.
Well, thank you so much. Again, this has been so valuable, and we appreciate having you in the community. You're just such a ray of light and just have helped so many people. So I really appreciate not only your time today, but all the time you've committed to this amazing community and to supporting us and our clients, because you helping us is helping millions of other people in its, compounding way. So
thank you.
Again,
thank you for having me on. It was great. I really enjoyed our time. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe on any of the podcast channels or on YouTube. Have a wonderful day.